Okay, hold on. Hold on. Oh. Pause. All right. This review is about the Spadgers. I didn't pick the name, and it's a little picture of a bird. Looks like a sparrow. It does not look like a combination of a sparrow and a badger, which sort of upsets me. Hopefully that was what they're going for. Now, we're going to go back to memory lane. Wallpaper download in the description, by the way. Memory lane. To this room, in fact. To this apartment and this room 5 years ago. That's where my friend, who used to have this apartment before me, let me listen to his headphones, which he kept in his case. It looked like a lot like this. In fact, it was exactly like this. He opened it up. He pulled out a set of Brainwaves HM5s. And up until that point, I had been using for like forever, Sennheiser HD280 Pros. And I loved them, and I used to brag to people about them. Oh, I love them. I love the best. They're obviously the best. They were $80, and they were Sennheisers. And they were breaking, and I was like, oh, do I buy them again? Do we just buy the same ones again? Because that's mindset old Zeos was in. Actually, that was a mind that old me was in. Zeos hadn't been born yet, really. I think he may have been born in this room, because it was at that point that I put these on. He let me try them. And these were big money. These were $130. These were his pride and joy. He kept them in the bag, pulled them out, and I put them on my head. And did he have a shit stack? He might have had an original version 1 shit stack. And I heard music, and I'm like, wait, there's something better than my beloved Sennheisers? And then it was decided, and I immediately went home, and I gathered all my coins and pennies, and I went to the couch, and I found $130, and I bought a set of Brainwaves HM5s. And that led to this fuckery. That's literally the genesis with these headphones. So it was like, what? Something can be not... I didn't even... When I moved to this apartment, I didn't even bring my 280 Pros with me. I feel like I was betrayed by them for like 9 years. It was ridiculous. Because that was it. It was like, why, Anakin? Why? You were the chosen one. And I'm like, nah, fuck it. So, things moved on for many, many years now. And I finally found a set of Spadgers, which there was mods for the HM5s and then the NVX XPT 100s that made them Openback. But look, Spadger just did it for you. So what is a Spadger? I don't know what a Spadger is. And I bought them, and it's been months ago, and now they're just like available from these sellers. So I don't know if they're even going to be around much longer. But I'm going to do a sort of re-review. I'm going to talk about the Spadgers, which are the newer pair here. But I'm also going to talk about the Brainwaves HM5s, because it's going on 5+ years, and I put them on, and I pull them out of a box. These were sitting in a box behind me. I hadn't put these on my head to listen probably 15, 17 months, 18 months, months, a year and a half I haven't listened to these headphones. The headphones have changed everything. And now that I've, developed through all this bullshit, and all this bullshit, and all this bullshit that's about to happen, all the bullshit that was, never will be, let's listen to the HM5s again. Because it's been a while since someone's asked me, hey, should I just get HM5s? And I've been able to give them a real answer. So let's review both of these. The case, obviously, you love the case. I think the Brainwaves, they used to come in this case. Then they came in that, like, egg-shaped case, which is buried in my bedroom somewhere. So it may come in an egg-shaped case. I love this one. This case, it's all soft. It's all foam. I mean, this is like what you would take. I actually cut up my original one from the NVXs to keep my 2000 Pros in it, or the 2000Xs in it, because it's way too nice and bulky and insane a case to keep. Like, these are like $60, and these were then $130. Now they're $100. So I mean, case overkill. 2 wires. Both of them came with 2 wires, a short one, which the Spadger is currently rocking. About 4 feet, perfect for a desk. Perfect. The long one is 10 foot, or at least 10 foot. It's big. And it comes with red and blue little indicators here, and they're mono, 3.5 millimeters, so it's not impossible to find replacements. In fact, I was using these cables, actually the ones from the Spadger here, when I had the focal Alliers, because the focal Alliers use 3.5 millimeter mono. And fuck the cable that came with the focal Alliers. This is fine. Just pop in there. They got a little fucking thing. They go really tight is what's going to be the theme of the evening, because these things are really tight. And what does that mean? We're going to talk a little bit about clamp force and comfort. If Brainwaves has done anything to improve the world of the headphone, other than bringing me into the review segment of it, it's they create headphone pads for the HM5 pads. HM5 pads. Now these have the original, I think, HM5 pads, which were much softer and thinner. Not memory foam. This is before memory foam was even a thing on headphones. But they were fucking comfortable. They're the reason half the headphones I recommend are usable, because they're so uncomfortable without pad changes. So Spadger has using, it's still not memory foam. It's basically an original pad, a little larger hole. You can see here that is, it's a 4-knuckle. It's a roomy 3-knuckle. For those of you who know how I measure pads, look at that. But the point is, to push these apart, it feels like they're gonna. These feel less likely to break when I pull them apart than my 5+-year-old HM5s, which I wore for 2.5 years straight. These are so fucking tight. Like, I can't put them on my head by opening them and putting them on my head. I have to actually open them like this and slide them down my head so that they. Fuck. It's like, please don't break at this moment. It hurt. I can't even spread them to show you in a video. So, clamp force. That was why I went to the NVXs, which had, I said sounded the same, but they had a little grain in the mid-range, and I have them in a box that I don't really care about, because these were still the ones. These were the ones. So now, what happens when you open their ass up? That ass? I guess it's their headphones, but it has 2 asses. Headphones have 2 asses. We have to draw a chart. Let me put these back on. And it's really is like that. That's the most strength that I have to use to open any headphone, and I'm barely cracking them open. But you put them on, and those perfect pads. And let me tell you, original HM5 pads were the perfect pad. Just take away. So it's clamping harder than any headphones that I've ever reviewed clamps. Maybe the Sennheiser HD25s, those little tiny little fuckers, those might clamp harder. But I could definitely get on a roller coaster with these and not worry at all. Flight simulator, like get into an actual F-16, doing loops, 6Gs, these aren't moving. They have more soundstage than the 2. When I got them, when I put them on, one of the first things I noticed was, okay, low end exists, and soundstage is a thing, really? And I love them for that. Yet they stay neutral. These were like the calmest little shove towards enjoyable headphone. Like, They close off really well. I mean, it sounds like I'm wearing hearing protection for like a gun range, because I'm talking and I could just hear the nasalness of it. Whereas these are a lot more open, and they don't sound much wider as far as soundstage. Usually when you go from closed to open, soundstage increases, and these are not blowing me away. These don't sound like Pioneer SCA 1000s or Monoprice Retros. They just open it up a little bit freer, and I think what benefits from that is the treble. I have no problems with the treble on these, and these are broken in quite a bit, where the treble on this is just higher than I'm used to. It's not in any way bad or problematic or going to hurt you. But if we're comparing, I shouldn't be comparing these two because I'm guarantee you almost none of you have heard either one. So I should just talk about it on its own. Let's get to something that's bassy because I really want to analyze the dead mouse. And I know that's not the be-all, end-all. Wow, I missed all the letters. Dead mouth. Bass exists. We'll compare it. A City in Florida, by the way, is the track I've chosen because it starts with A and it's the top of the list. It's so hard to stretch apart. Bass is better on the closed. Now, I know what's coming. I know the questions that are coming because I can see the future. I have a crystal ball. But Zeos, what about the M40Xs and the Status CB1s, which are not here? I never owned a pair of those. Or your, like you just mentioned, beloved monoprice retros. Or the Takstar Pro 82s. What about those? Well, that's the fucking problem, isn't it? Is that those four and this one are all making the grade for Zeos. So he has to pick which one you should buy. And it's hard as fuck. This job is hard now. Because there's 5 nearly identically priced. Once you do mods like that, 60, and then these are 100, and those with mods are like 150. So they're all in the under $200 range, and they're all closed, and they're all easy to drive, and they're all very good. So I have to somehow convince at least a portion of you, maybe 20%. You see what I did there? There's 5 headphones. 20% of you, maybe these are still the ones you should be buying. If they weren't as clampy, I'd probably be more likely to recommend them over other things. The clamp kills them a bit. I don't know why they're so fucking tight. And you could fix that. You could open this up all the way and literally just bend that piece of metal straighter, like that, and it'll lose some of that. In fact, I think actually just extending that up has already granted it a much easier stretch. Not much easier. But you can fix that, and the comfort with the pads is immensely great. But why would you buy these over something else? Because the soundstage isn't as wide as when you do M40Xs with pads. And the bass isn't as insane as when you do monoprice retro with pads. And then the CB1s are like... The CB1s would be like the direct comparison to this because they came comfortable, they're easy to drive, they have amazing soundstage and imaging. Imaging on these is for $100, right up there with all the rest of them out there. And by say that, I mean like under $200 closed headphones. We're not talking about, Ether C flow killers. That's not happening. Nah. We all want that to happen. It's not happened yet. We've gotten close, though. But nothing's killed that. So I don't know. This is one of those Zeos looks back upon his hero and tells you maybe you should buy him, maybe you shouldn't. What about the closed back versus open back? Well, the open back, more treble, a little less bass. So if I had to discuss the difference between the two, that's it. Comfort is near identical. These have a little bit weirder, like the plastic is different. Like they're definitely, this is 5 years ago and this is today. Did they improve the strength of that? Yeah, they did right there. They improved. Because one of the things that used to happen on these is because they're so fucking tight, they would crack right here. And there's only 2 bars and these don't connect. And now there's 4 bars and all of those connect. So they've definitely taken steps. They've also definitely changed the plastic to a better, stronger plastic, which now makes funny little squeak noises occasionally. But everything else seems roughly identical. You get you get cushioning up here, but the edge here is rock hard. So it doesn't make, it's like, well, but it doesn't matter because these are going to clamp so hard that may never touch your head. It may just hold and this will just float. Actually, that's the thing that's making squeaky sounds. Probably because the plastic is so damn shiny, or because they put a rubber grommet in there to keep it from free flowing. Ugh. So they've made it a little bit. I don't hate these, and I don't hate these. I want to recommend these. I want to recommend these. They still exist. The Birth. If you've had nothing but bad headphones, if you've had nothing but M50Xs, you can think about these. You could also think about the other 4 I talked about. I will link these and the other 4 headphones I just talked about in the description of this video. Because it's maybe I'll even put a little blurb at the end of it. But it's so hard to contemplate. And I can't even say, though, well, these are the most comfortable. CB1s are damn comfortable. They don't have a 4-knuckle. Like these, I consider that a 4-knuckle. The old ones were a 3-knuckle. These new ones are definitely a 4-knuckle. It's a thinner rim. But the goddamn Pro 82s, if you could find them, are the most comfortable. The perfect clamp. The best pad space and angle. It's a miracle. It's a miracle headphone. Because no matter what the cost I've ever fucking spent or sat in a show, nothing feels as good as the Pro 82s. Then they have that weird bass switch, which you don't have to use. And a weird detachable cable that's a 2.5mm on the end, which is going to be a fucking pain in the dick. I'm arguing with myself here. I'm upset at myself for not being able to convey any thoughts anymore. I'm just that's what I feel. I feel like that right now. Just, carry me home, Kazuma. Do these benefit from open versus the close? It changes them. I don't think it's like, oh, well, they should have had them open all the time. These are so much better. It just gives you a different flavor. If you have HM5s, if you're one of those people who's, and I don't know if you exist, but if you're one of those people who has never used anything but HM5s, you want to try something a little bit different with the same exact feel, open the backs, a little bit less bass, a little bit, not sharper, but more exposed treble. Soundstage is okay. The soundstage on the 280 Pros was abysmal. Abysmally wide. It was like, ugh, like I couldn't, how did I game in that shit? No wonder I'm bad at games. My formative years were spent listening to headphones with no soundstage. But now, these came along and they had some, which was good enough. But now I know monoprice retros exist, and I don't have my arms. I'd have to sever them and throw them into separate rooms to explain how the soundstage is on monoprice retros. Like, how wide is it? Hold on. It's that big. It's that fucking big. So, I love them. If you want to try what made Zeos become the audio fool he is today, and I'm not an audio fool, all this shit is cheap or sent to me. I ain't spending my money on that. See those? Sent to me. Those I bought. Sent to me. Sent to me. Sent to me, sent to me, and then I bought all those, but I'm selling them. So I try not to just throw all my money at audio shit, which is probably good and why this channel is popular. Because if I was one of those other people, and you know who they are, who just, I gotta buy all these things, and I'm just sort of like, yeah, I want to try it. Never selling these. Keeping them forever. They're too sentimental in value to me. These, on the other hand, these might show up in a Patreon yard sale. If you don't know what that is, end of the month, or actually beginning of the month, I will announce on this YouTube channel, hey, this item and this item and this item and this item, I'm done reviewing them. I don't need them. I paid for them. You want to buy them? Offer me money. Become a patron. $5 more. Offer me money. And then I send them to you. Free shipping, unless you're European or Australian or North Korean, and then you have to pay half the shipping. But yeah, it's a way for me to clear bullshit out of my apartment. So support me on Patreon and you get that benefit. You also get to see these videos anywhere from a few days to a few weeks early. So should there be a run on Spadgers, oh my god, Zeos, did you see the Zeos review on the Spadgers? Oh no, I'm not a patron. Oh, you aren't? And then everyone goes and hoards all the Spadgers. That's one of the other benefits, is that things don't sell out, because only like well, 600 people are still looking at it. Or actually, the view is never that high, which is weird. 200 people at most will see the video. It's a benefit. So anyway, sound demo for the Spadger. I may or may not re-sound demo the HM5s because I don't even know if I was doing sound demos when I reviewed this. You know what? I don't think I was. So next round of sound demos. If it's not linked in the description, a sound demo for this, in the future, at some point, I'll just randomly release a sound demo for the HM5 because you deserve to know what it sounds like. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting. Hello, patrons. How you doing? REM download in the description. REM and all other wallpaper downloads on the Patreon for $2 or more a month because that's how businesses succeed. And yeah.